Namaste, welcome to Hatha Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. Grab a couple of yoga blocks and a strap and let's begin in hero's pose if that is okay with your body. Some way of placing the knees in front of you. This is Noah. He'll be walking around to adjust this and pointing your toes back where you can either sit directly on your calves or on a block that's right between your ankles to give the knees a little support. So have you ever fallen prey to your own internal resistance of what is, what's happening in the moment, and then realized that the suffering that you were creating in yourself through this, and made a conscious decision, a liberating decision, to let go of resisting? So I have a story to tell. Over 12 years ago, I was an elementary school teacher living abroad as a volunteer. I served in Ghana and West Africa, and then later in Costa Rica for over a year. My first 6 or more than 6 months were filled with such inner contraction in response to the culture shock that I experienced in many ways. I lived a very minimalist lifestyle as a volunteer in developing countries, and that challenged myself in missing many of the conveniences and infrastructures that I took for granted when I was living in the US, such as hot water, reliable public transportation, access to healthy food, and disciplinary protocol in the school systems to support classroom management. So I found myself mentally resisting the circumstances daily, and even crying when I got home from volunteering that day at school, wanting to return home back to California for over 6 months. My main solace was running in nature and practicing yoga every day. Gradually, I started to shift my perspective. I realized that I was creating much of my own suffering, and that these external circumstances that I was resisting were going to be there whether or not I resisted them. And so I learned to stop little by little gripping onto the templates that I thought life should be like, that I thought things should be like. And then I started to let myself play outside of the box a little, outside of the box of my comfort zone. And sometimes even finding humor at myself for my own rigidity. I started to make new friends. I started to do things that scared me, and sometimes just because they were unfamiliar. And finally, these experiences abroad became one of the most transformative experiences in my life that led me onto this path now of sharing yoga. And I believe that is so much of what yoga is about. Letting go of our inner resistance. We have so much programming of how we believe things should be in whatever area of life. So my question to you as we start this practice is, in what ways might you give yourself permission to let go of inner resistance and trust the mystery of life? So sitting here now, let your body be still. Noticing whatever sensations are transpiring in it. Sensing your physical state as a whole. Begin to tune into your breath just as it is. And as you feel the qualities of your breathing, notice how you feel energetically. Then bring your attention to your mind. What activities are happening there? How are the contents of your thoughts and the thoughts that you're choosing to feed affecting the way you feel mentally and emotionally? So we start with this assessment of what's on your plate so that we can practice a sense of acceptance with what is. Not trying to change it, just being with whatever is right now. You don't even have to like it, but acceptance is the first step to making a change if that's what you're welcoming. So now what's one thing you can genuinely appreciate? Taking a moment to offer gratitude. Breathe that feeling in and exhale through the mouth. Start to clarify one thing you would like to place your focus on and expand in your experience through this practice, setting your intention or sankalpa. And what way can letting go be part of your practice today? Or playing outside of your comfort zone? And then a way of offering up our efforts, being open to all possibilities, is to dedicate today's practice to someone or something you care about. So call to mind an individual, a community, or a cause to dedicate this practice to. Again, inhale a little deeper, fill it up, and let it go. Together as we share a practice, join me in 3 chants of Om. Inhale deeply. And notice if there's any sort of stagnancy you're experiencing physically, emotionally, energetically, or mentally, that you might just begin to bring intention to release, to open up more fully to the present moment. If anything, I'd like you to join me into 3 rounds of lion's breath to help release that. Simasana pranayama. So inhale fully through your nose, deep breath in, hold it in, and then when you're ready, open your mouth and eyes wide, stick out your tongue and let any sound out as you exhale deeply. 2 more, inhale. Last one. And then slow the breath down through the nose. Let's begin the practice of Ujjayi Pranayama, calming your nervous system, balancing inhales and exhales as you softly narrow the back of your throat, creating a gentle ocean wave sound. Smoothen out the breath and let the sound be very soft and subtle, not forceful, unlike lion's breath. And with that, let's make our way onto hands and knees in tabletop position. So as you're setting up on hands and knees, stack your shoulders over your wrists, stack your hips over your knees, and spread your fingers wide and flat so that your index fingers are pointing straight ahead and not towards each other. Broaden across your shoulder blades by spinning your outer upper arms towards the back of the room. And as you inhale, begin to straighten the right leg behind you, parallel to the floor. Lift your navel towards your back. Flex your right foot as if you're pushing your inner right heel against your rear wall. How's the breath? Gaze at the ground just ahead so that you're also lengthening your neck. Think of creating a strong, long line through the center of your body, from crown, down the spine, through the inseam of your right leg. Balancing the height of your 2 hips at your lower back. Now, if your balance feels pretty stable, continue to activate your belly and try lifting the left arm like you're about to shake someone's hand in front of you. So the upper arm aligns with your left ear as you draw your left shoulder into its socket. Deep breaths here. And then if your balance still feels pretty steady, you want to play with it a little more, try bending your right knee backstroking your left arm and seeing if you might be able to catch hold of the top of your right foot or ankle, kicking the foot away as you pull it, rolling your left shoulder back. So whatever version of balancing you're in, let's listen to 3 more deep breaths. Use your right hand to press the floor away with, so there's a rebound effect. So like we're doing now with your right hip, we're going to be practicing quite a bit of hips in extension, stretching the area of the hip flexors, top of the thighs. On your next exhale, plant the left hand back down and bend the right knee towards your nose, stepping the right foot gently beside your right thumb, entering a kneeling lunge. Make sure your legs are hips width apart and that your front knee is right on top of the heel. Isometrically scissor your legs to create stability as you inhale to rise up. And then press your hands on the very top of your right thigh, rooting this right leg solidly still as you lift your frontal hip bones slightly towards your lowest front ribs and roll the shoulders behind you, pressing the shoulders down, lengthening the tailbone down, and lifting your sternum and the back of your skull. A few more deep breaths. Steadying your gaze, your drishti, helps to steady your mind. Bring your attention to your intention. One more inhale. And as you exhale, come back to tabletop. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, spread the fingers wide. Inhale, straighten your left leg behind you, parallel to the floor, lifting your lower belly. Flexing your left foot. Spiraling the inseam of your left leg slightly towards the sky. As you lengthen your neck, gaze on the ground just ahead of your thumbs and notice the quality of your breathing. Each breath, think of growing longer through the center line of your body. Maybe you play with a challenge of raising the right arm in front of you like you're about to shake someone's hand, so the upper arm is alongside your ear as you draw the shoulder back. Keep lifting the bottom of your front ribs and lengthening your tailbone towards your inner left knee. And if you're raising your right arm and feel pretty stable, you might bend the left knee, backstroke the right arm and catch the top of your left foot or ankle, kicking the foot away as you pull it so that you can help lift your chest and roll the right shoulder back. Whatever variation of these postures you're in, let's tune into 3 more deep breaths. On an exhalation, plant your right hand, bend your left knee towards your chest and step the left foot gently beside your left thumb, entering Anjaneyasana, a kneeling lunge. Make sure your legs are hips width apart, your front knee's right on top of the heel. Create stability by isometrically scissoring the legs as you lift your spine up. Then press your hands onto the very top of your left thigh, lifting your frontal hip bones towards your lowest front ribs, while lengthening your tailbone downward. Then lift your back ribs too as you peel the shoulder blades down them, tilting your heart and gaze slightly up. Land your eyes on one point that you choose and come back to the sound of your breath. This time on your next exhale, lower your hands to the top of your mat and step the right foot forward, entering Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Feet hips width apart, parallel to each other. Place your hands on your shins or blocks in front of your feet or the ground itself. Press into that as you inhale to lengthen your spine forward into half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Then exhale, fold again to Uttanasana. Press to your feet, inhale, sweep your arms forward, rising to stand as you coil your chest up in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands to meet at your heart center in Padasana. Bring your intention to mind and heart. And let's move to the breath in our first series of sun salutations, Surya Namaskar. Inhale, sweep your arms forward and coil your chest up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge forward from your hips, Uttanasana. Place your fingertips outside your heels and inhale, step the left knee back to Anjaneyasana, kneeling lunge. Look up. Holding your breath, step into plank pose. As you exhale, lower your knees, then your chest, then your chin in Ashtangasana. As you inhale, slide to the floor and coil your chest up in Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, lift your hips back to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb, lower your back knee, gaze up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow to Uttanasana. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, gently back bend in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands at your heart in Padasana. One more, second side, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Plant your fingertips, inhale, right knee back, look up, Anjaneyasana. Hold your breath as you step to plank. Exhale, Ashtangasana, lower knees, chest, chin. Inhale, slide to the floor in Bhujangasana, Cobra. Exhale, lift your hips, Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Inhale, step your right foot forward, lower your back knee, gaze up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, step your left foot forward and fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands, Padasana. Second series of sun salutations. Inhale again, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. This time, press with your hands. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward in Ardha Uttanasana. Step into plank pose, and as you exhale, glide forward, bend your elbows to hug your side ribs in Chaturanga Dandasana. Then lower to Cobra or flip the toes to upward facing dog as you inhale. Exhale to downward facing dog. Let's pause for 3 breaths, cultivating stillness and focus as you steady your gaze and re-steady your breath. 3 cycles of breath here. After your third exhale, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat, entering Uttanasana. Inhale, press with your hands, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale again, Uttanasana. Rooting down through your feet, inhale, rise to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands together, Padasana. One more time, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank to lower or float into Chaturanga this time. Continue to Cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing, and let's pause for 3 breaths, cultivating focus and stillness. After the third out breath, walk or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, root to rise, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Padasana. Third series of sun salutations. Bring your feet together for chair. And on your next inhale, bend your knees together. Maybe graze the floor with your fingertips, sinking your hips that low before you raise your arms up. Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, shift your weight forward and bow, Uttanasana. Press with your hands, inhale, lengthen. Ardha Uttanasana. Step or float back, take it to your vinyasa. Inhaling cobra or upward dog. Exhaling downward facing. Inhale, raise your right leg behind you, keeping your hips leveled. Exhale, step the foot beside your right thumb and drop your back heel. Face forward, inhale, rise up to warrior one. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. At downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your left leg with hips balanced. Exhale the foot beside your left thumb, drop your right heel. Inhale, rise to Virabhadrasana 1, warrior one. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Pause for 3 breaths. Then walk or float to the top. Feet together, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Bend your knees together, inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, Padasana. Last time, inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale as you walk or float back. Continue through your vinyasa. From Adho Mukha Svanasana, inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale the foot forward, drop your back heel. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. Second side, inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale the foot beside your left thumb. Drop the back heel. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower to your vinyasa. Three breaths in downward dog, and anytime you may need to rest, take rest. When you finish your third exhale, if you're ready, walk or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Bend your knees. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Padasana. All right, let's separate the feet hips width apart here. Bring your hands together in prayer and shift your weight onto your right foot. Notice the height of your 2 frontal hip bones and try to keep them balanced in height as you shift your weight onto your right foot, activating your abdomen, and lift your left knee in front of you, flexing your left foot. Notice if the left hip wants to hike up. If so, draw the left sitting bone down towards your inner right heel, keeping the balance in your 2 frontal hip bones. Steady your eyes, steady your breath. And then very slowly as you exhale, step the ball of your left foot all the way to the rear of your mat, entering crescent lunge. Feet hips width apart. Draw your tailbone down and slightly lift your frontal hip bones, scissoring your right outer hip back as you bend front knee over the ankle and rotating your left outer hip forward. Arms overhead, straight as you draw your shoulders down and lift through the top of your skull. Hands together or apart. Land your eyes with intention. Let's listen to a few last breaths. Spin your left heel down and align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot, preparing for triangle pose. So keeping your legs straight from the front muscles of your thighs without locking your knees. Glide your pelvis sideways towards the rear wall and reach your torso and right arm towards your front wall, lengthening the right side of your torso as you place the right hand either on a block outside of your right shin, directly under your right shoulder, or on the ground outside of your right shin. Pressing the right arm and right leg against each other as you rotate your right outer hip underneath you to track the front knee with your front middle toe. Stretching your left arm towards the sky, stack your shoulders and wrists in one line, sending both shoulder blades down your back ribs as you spin your chest slightly to face the sky. Choose a point to focus your eyes on, and let's listen to several more breaths here in Trikonasana. Gaze down just ahead of your right foot. Let's prepare for half moon pose. Bending your right knee, walk your right hand about 6 inches forward of your right pinky toe, out to the right corner, dragging your left foot forward before you flex it off the floor. Recreate the shape of triangle pose while balancing on one leg. Find a point to steady your eyes on. Now, as we practice hips in extension, there's an opportunity here to bring the left hip in extension by bending the left knee towards your belly, catching hold of the top of your left foot with your left hand, then kicking the foot away towards the back wall as you pull the foot towards your glute, rolling your left shoulder open. Be mindful not to point your left knee towards the sky, but instead towards the back wall. This helps to support your lower back. Tack the crease of your right hip back towards the rear wall as you lengthen your torso towards the front wall. Whatever version of Ardha Chandrasana you're in, let's listen to 3 more breaths. If you're in the bent knee version of Ardha Chandra Chapasana, straighten your left leg first. Then as you exhale, slowly step back to reverse triangle. So both legs straight, side bend towards the back of the room as you raise the right arm overhead. Full breath in. Exhale to plank pose with an optional vinyasa, cat-cow, child's pose, or step directly to downward facing dog. Deep inhale. Rebalancing exhale. Bend your knees. Walk or float to the front of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips. Point your elbows to the sky. Lead with your chest and inhale, rise. Join your hands at your heart and shift your weight onto your left foot. Keep your 2 hips balanced as you raise the right knee in front of you and flex the foot. Draw your right sitting bone down towards your inner left heel and lift up to the center line of your body. Steady your eyes and breath as you exhale to slowly step the ball of your right foot way back to the rear of your mat, entering crescent lunge. Feet hips width apart, parallel. Both hips squared forward as you drop the tailbone and slightly lift your frontal hip bones. Then raising your arms straight up, relax your shoulders down. Palms together or apart. Land your eyes. Let's listen to several more breaths. Spin your right heel down and align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot, setting up for triangle with legs straight. Firm the front muscles of your thighs and glide your hips sideways towards your rear wall, reaching your torso and left arm towards your front wall. Place your left hand either on a block, just to the left side of your left shin, or on the floor. Pressing the left arm and left leg against each other, rotate your left outer hip underneath your body so that you can track your left kneecap with the left middle toe. Press the crease of your left hip back towards your right outer foot as you lengthen your torso and crown forward, sending the shoulders down your back. Stack your wrists and shoulders, spinning your chest slightly to face the sky. Trikonasana for several more breaths. Gaze just ahead of your left foot, bend your left knee, and shift your weight forward to half moon, placing the left hand upper left corner of the left pinky toe. Drag your right foot in and flex it off the floor, recreating the shape of triangle pose. Now, if you practice that bent knee version on the first side, try bending your right knee towards your belly here. Use your right hand to catch the top of the foot and kick the foot away as you pull it towards your glute, rotating the right shoulder open. Check in with your breathing and use it to support your balance, steadying your gaze for 3 or so more breaths. If your right knee is bent, first straighten the leg. With an exhale, gently land reverse triangle. Stepping the right foot down, keeping the leg straight as you side bend towards your rear wall, raising the left arm overhead. Fill up with your inhalation, then exhale your hands to the ground, optional vinyasa from here. Invite a deep inhalation, opening up space, and let it go. Couple more breaths. What is present for you now? Physically, mentally, energetically? And how might you be practicing playing out of your comfort zone or letting go of inner resistance? Bend your knees, empty the breath, and walk or float to the front of your mat. This time, grab a strap, take 2 blocks, and place them a foot in front of your feet on their tallest height. Then bring your hands to your hips with that strap in hand, point your elbows to the sky, and inhale, lead with your chest to rise up. If you can make a loop on the strap, make it small enough so that you can fit the ball of one foot into it. Let's prepare for standing bow, also called dancer pose. So step the ball of your right foot either in the loop or, if no loop, into the center of the strap. If you have a loop, you'll just hold one tail of the strap. If your foot is in the middle, you'll hold 2 ends of the strap with the right hand. Start with your feet together in mountain pose and place your left hand on your left hip. Notice the balance of your 2 frontal hip bones like we noticed before. Draw your navel in and up and lengthen your tailbone downward towards your inner left knee. Try to keep your 2 hips evenly facing forward the whole standing bow pose. Start to bend your right knee to hug the left knee, kicking the right foot into the strap as you pull it firmly with the right hand, sliding the right hand down the strap as close to your right foot as you can, with your right palm face up. Keep your tailbone stretching downward towards your inner left knee. Start to kick away your right foot as you pull the strap, so those 2 counter forces can help you balance as you're lifting your chest and lifting your left arm. Kicking even more, pulling even more as you tilt your torso slightly forward, entering Natarajasana, Cancer pose. Now there's an option to hand that strap to your left hand and hold it with two hands. Going further into this hip and extension, where you point your two elbows forward, no wider apart than shoulders distance. Keep rotating your right hip towards the floor, keeping the hips balanced in height. Whatever version you're in, steady your gaze, and let's listen to 3 more breaths. Gently release the strap, but keep your right leg lifted behind you. Lower your hands on the blocks, entering supported warrior 3. Lengthen your right leg just like you did in that first tabletop position where we were playing with balance. Lift the sides of the belly, lengthen your neck, steady your eyes and breath. Stay here or prepare for a spinal twist in twisting half moon, where you walk the right block, a foot in front of your left big toe. Use your left thumb to tack your left outer hip back as you press the right heel back and lengthen your torso forward, breathing in. Keeping your 2 hips balanced and still, exhale, begin to rotate your rib cage to face the left wall. Maybe raising the left arm towards the sky. Optional to take another bow pose, a twisting version, where you bend the right knee, catch the strap, or the right foot with the left hand, and kick the foot away like we did in tabletop. Rolling the left shoulder back. Steady your eyes. Let's listen to 3 more breaths. Gently step the right foot beside the left foot and fold over your legs. Removing the strap. Slip your palms face up under the soles of your feet in Padahastasana. Feel free to bend your knees any amount here so you can get the toes to meet the inner creases of your wrists, stretching your outer wrists. As you keep your hands under, inhale, lift your chest through the gates of your arms. Keep drawing the shoulders back and lengthening the spine forward as you bow from your hips. Dropping your head, maybe shake it out a few breaths. See if you can bend the elbows apart to help you lift the shoulders away from your neck. Let's flutter the lips a couple of times, releasing any tension in the jaw. Breathe in, let it go. Slip your palms out, grab the strap. While you're down here, step the ball of your left foot into the loop or center of the strap. Then hold the strap in your left hand, bring your hands to your hips and lead with your chest to rise. Arrange the blocks so that they are a foot in front of your feet on their tallest height, shoulders width apart. Step your feet together in mountain pose. Sense the feeling of your 2 hips in balance and use this feeling as a reference point to keep balancing the height of your hips. Keep your 2 hip bones facing forward. Activate your lower belly and bend your left knee to hug your right knee. Right away, kicking the left foot into the strap as you pull it with the left hand. Sliding the left hand as close to the left foot as you can, draw your tailbone like an anchor towards the ground between or on the inside of your right heel. Start to kick your left foot away as you pull the strap. Play with those counter forces as you raise your right arm and heart. Breath by breath, tilting the torso slightly forward. Keep rotating your left outer hip towards the floor. Maybe hand the strap to your right hand and point your elbows forward, no wider than shoulders width. Standing bow, Natarajasana. Tune into a few more breaths here. Gently straighten the left leg behind you, lower your hands on your blocks in supported warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Take a moment to square your hips to the ground. Lengthen through the center line of your body and flex your left foot. With steady breath, stay here or prepare for twisting half moon, Parita Ardha Chandrasana, by walking the left block to land a foot in front of your right big toe. Then using your right thumb, hook the right outer hip back. Lengthen through your center line as you breathe in. Keep your pelvis still, and as you breathe out, rotate your chest to the right little by little, maybe raising your right arm, maybe bending your left knee and holding the strap, or your left foot with your right hand and kicking it away as you pull it. The twisting version of standing bow. Last 3 breaths. Gently step your left foot to meet the right and fold over your legs, removing the strap. This time, let's separate the feet wider than your hips width apart. Rotate both thighs externally, turn them out, and bend your knees into a version of a squat that your body feels okay with. You could sit on a stack of blocks, hover the pelvis off the ground. If your Achilles tendons are really tight, you could fold a blanket and place your heels on the edge of that folded blanket. Use your arms to splay open your inner thighs and then lift your spine. Drop your shoulders. Come back to the breath. Maybe close your eyes. Balancing and slowing down inhales and exhales. And then come on down to Hero's Pose again, or we'll bring both hips in extension, Supine Hero. So either sitting on a block between your ankles or on your calves, or sitting on the ground between your ankles. Make sure again that your knees are no wider than hips width apart on the floor, and that your feet are neither turned out or turned in. Toes are pointing back. Then as you hug in your bottom front ribs and continue to lengthen your lower back, little by little, breath by breath, start to lean back to your degree. You might put a pillow behind your torso to catch you like a reclining chair. Or you might eventually lower onto your elbows or lower onto your back. Listen to your body. You're going to be here for 10 more breaths. If you're lying back and your arms are free, you can raise them overhead and hold opposite elbows. Relax the shoulders down. First 5 breaths, one elbow on top. Last 5 breaths, switch elbows.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Take your time, give yourself a few breaths to begin lifting your torso upright, and then slide your legs in front of you. Let's prepare for bridge pose, lying on your back. Optional to grab a block and hug the skinny width between knees and thighs for lower back support. Separate your feet about hips width apart and parallel to each other. Bring the arms down by your sides and have your heels where you could almost touch them with your fingertips, but not quite that close. Ground your shoulders and tilt the chin back to open your throat. On your next inhale, begin to lift the pelvis, stretching the fronts of your thighs forward, spinning your inner thighs slightly towards the floor, and walking your upper arms closer together under your back ribs, maybe clasping the hands as you keep the arms straight. Give yourself a total of 5 to 7 breaths before you exhale to slowly lower your spine and pelvis. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Now, as you're lengthening the fronts of your thighs forward, bring the counter action of isometrically dragging your heels back towards your glutes. We have one more, maybe two more practices of bridge pose. You may like to drop the knees apart and bring the soles of the feet together, resting in Supta Baddha Konasana for 3 breaths before round 2. Now choose to practice bridge pose again, or if you normally practice upward facing bow, then take that instead. So second round for 5 to 7 breaths on your own. Again, you might drop the knees apart and bring the soles of the feet together as you rest for 3 breaths before round 3, the last round. Bridge or Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward bow. Take it on your own for 5 to 7 breaths. This time, when you lower your pelvis, let's prepare for a supine spinal twist. Wrap your right leg over the left leg as much as you can, like eagle pose. Then drop your knees both to the left, stacking your right hip directly above your left hip. Slide your right arm out to the right on the floor, grounding that shoulder or encouraging that shoulder to ground as you look past it. Start to slow down your exhalations a little bit longer than your inhalations. You might use your left hand to press away your right outer hip to help release any tension in the lower back. One more long exhalation here. Then roll onto your back and let's switch the cross of your legs. Wrapping the left leg on top, drop your knees to the right and stack the left hip over the right. Slide your left arm behind you towards the left wall, and as you look past the left shoulder, encourage it to fall. Longer exhalations. You might use your right hand to press away your left outer hip to traction your lower spine. One more deep exhale. And gently roll onto your back and splay your knees apart in Happy Baby, or straddle the legs wide in a supine version of Upavishta Konasana. Either way, ground your tailbone to support your lower back. Round your shoulders and relax your head. Draw your bent knees together and roll up to sit for seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Straighten the legs in front of you and flex your feet, ground your sitting bones. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, little by little, fold forward, either using a strap around the balls of your feet, walking your hands down your legs, and or clasping your big toes. Find a slight lift at your chest as you're bowing into yourself for 3 last breaths. Root down through your hips and inhale, slowly rise up. Begin to lower your body into your final resting pose, corpse pose, Shavasana. So lying all the way down, lay out your feet, maybe turn your palms up beside you and close your eyes. Perhaps taking one last deep inhalation through your nose, and as slowly as you can, letting it go through your lips. Here is a practice of completely letting go. Rest here a little longer with your eyes still closed. And begin to scan your physical body, noticing any sensations here now. As you feel your physical state, gently begin to move small parts of your body first, like turning the head slowly, rubbing your thumbs across your fingertips, wiggling your toes, and eventually stretching larger parts of your body. Take your time turning over onto your right side, resting your head for a moment. Become aware of the quality of your natural breath. And notice if anything has shifted energetically for you. When you're ready, press into the ground and lift your body into a comfortable seat in which you can meditate in for 5 minutes. Sit in a way that you can feel a balance of weight distribution throughout your pelvis, sense of grounding. Spine can feel tall, a sense of alertness. And your body can feel easeful, a sense of calm. Place your hands in any gesture or mudra that cultivates the feeling tone of your intention. The palms stacked in the lap, thumb tips touching. Invite a sense of equanimity, befriending the present moment as it is. Close your eyes or steady a soft gaze on one spot, and let's begin. Let your awareness gently land at the place in your body in which you can most easily feel the sensations of the natural breath. If and when your attention goes away from the breath, take the time to observe where your attention has gone and how this feels in your body, your attention to go there. Then practice friendliness with yourself as you gently re-guide your awareness back to the place where you feel the breath in your body. Do this observe and re-guiding process as many times as your attention goes astray. This is part of your meditation practice. Notice the way you feel now mentally and emotionally. Sense the effects of your practice. Bring to heart something you're now grateful for. And whether mentally or out loud, I invite you to restate your intention for this practice. Inhaling fully, lifting your heart space, exhaling deeply. And call to mind again whomever or whatever you dedicated today's practice to. And now let's prepare to close with 3 chants of Om. Inhale deeply. Bowing in, remember the light that resides within. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.